We did have PlayStation VR 2 controllers revealed. Okay, so I was a little confused about this one because they said they weren't going to talk about PlayStation VR 2 at all this year, really. And then just randomly during the week, they were like, here are the new controllers.
Honestly, I think they're trying to get some momentum back that Microsoft have had all week, and they decide to do this.
See, I'm thinking, I get your point on that, but I'm thinking it's because we're nearing the end of March. Their fiscal year is coming to a close. They want to build up a little anticipation for the coming fiscal year in terms of potential announcements. We'll probably see the headset get detailed and shown in the later half of this year. I think this is just a way for them to cater to investors to say, we do have our new VR solution in the works. Mm-hmm. Here's our controller. Yes, it looks like the Sony Ericsson logo, but we're working on this. It's coming. And, just excite people a little bit on the prospect of the future.
So I almost wondered if the way that they have their controller set up here, which I can go down some of the specs, I almost wondered if they put that out because I feel like we're probably going to get another setup from Facebook with their Oculus brand, and probably, I think, something maybe from Valve or HTC. And I almost wonder if they wanted to get their controllers out there, because if they wait until after them, it might look like that they're copying or mimicking them more, because this is an interesting controller when you look at how they do that, like that ring in the back there that's for tracking, because the other ones is either on the side of your wrist or on top of it. Right. This just like goes around your wrist, which is really interesting for tracking the way your hand is going to move. But this they have features here: adaptive triggers, haptic feedback. I don't think that surprises anyone to hear about that, but finger touch detection. So that would be, I guess, haptic or capacitive touch on the bar itself there that you see when you're holding it, so it will be able to tell where your fingers are exactly. Tracking through the VR on that ring on the bottom there, and then they have action buttons, one button for grip, so if you got to grab something in the game. And MVG, what does this all mean?
Half-Life Alyx, baby.
Half-Life Alyx. Yeah,
PlayStation
that is
5. That's what I want.
I think that's a launch game for this thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be huge, and that would be massive if they could pull that off. I'm here for it if they do that.
Jordan couldn't handle it. He had to leave.
It feels like one of the reasons that this well, first of all, I want to say real quick, it's been truly bizarre watching PlayStation do most of their announcements on blogs on like random weekday mornings. Obviously that's a part of the world we live in now, as we navigate these uncertain
Remember when
times.
They just dropped the controller online? They're like, here's the PlayStation 5 controller. And it's like,
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, shit,
right.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Shit like that, where you're just like, that was like a Sunday morning or a Monday morning or something. It was super weird. But also I think they're getting dev kits out to people, and it's better to control the messaging here and go, here's what this, these weird hand thongs look like, rather than have somebody tweet a picture from there. They look like, okay, I don't know if you've seen pictures of people holding these things. It looks like a guy just stole a bunch of underwear.
I've seen a picture of it, but that's not what came to my mind. Like, oh yeah, some thongs for my hand.
How many times were you dropped on your head as a kid?
Yeah, it does look, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
It looks like a freaking female tank top. The controllers look like a thong, apparently.
Yep.
I have to agree with Brian on this one.
Let me drop Oh, you got it. Okay, yeah, you got him.
There we go. Yeah, it looks like a guy stole underwears. I don't know why I said underwear.
Now that image is in my head, and now that looks like that now.
Okay, so, this is what I'm talking about.
So I decided to I decided to try out the VR headset again for the PS4 on the PS5 after they made this announcement. I was like, let me go back to this. I hadn't played it in a while, and we have those free games that are coming up here. They're dropping. I haven't played Paper Beast, for example.
You had to order like you had to mail away for like a bunch of like
they had a cable
parts and stuff, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I did get that because Nate reminded me, and they just sent it to you. I think it's like one per headset or something. I think it was by your serial number, something like that. But I tried it out, and that headset is archaic. Oh my gosh, it is. I cannot wait for this revision, because I'm sure. I mean, the PlayStation VR headset was cool when it came out, but now going back to that, dude, it's so low. Like the resolution on it's so low, the screen door effect is so obvious, and the frame rate, even on the PS5, I was a little surprised, was like acting up a bit. So I just think a lot of the games aren't really designed at all with the PS5 in mind anyway. So like the nice thing about these systems now is they are able to do 120 frames per second just outright. You don't need a booster box or anything. So I think we'll get much better experiences with the PS5, and now I just want that like now, because even we're using these the Move controllers.
Oh man, yeah. No, it's such a like archaic is the best way to describe it. It is a last gen sort of like early to market VR kit based on these funny clown nose controllers that shipped to ape the Nintendo Wii remotes that we're still using in 2021 on next gen consoles if you get something in the mail. And that's not even including like the breakout box and there's like 6 snakes you have to plug in. It's a fucking pain in the ass. Like,
and I lose HDR because I have the first gen one. So
me too. Which I like. That annoys me to the point where I like basically unplugged it forever. But I'm super excited for this. I want them to like. I was a little bummed when they said there's gonna be one cable because I have like the Oculus and it's it's none.
The Quest.
Yep.
Yeah, that is really convenient.
But I'll deal with one cable versus like 6 or 7 or whatever.
Yeah, because I assume it'll be probably the experience would be much better, obviously, because it's like the PS5 versus the chip that's in the Quest. But I mean, if you have like the link for your PC, then it's still technically one cable. But like, if we can eliminate that booster box and stuff, it'd be so much better. So I'm curious because now we see these controllers, and now I'm really curious about what the headset's going to look like. Two-toned, I guess, still to go along with the PS5.
Two-toned, probably a little smaller. A sleeker looking thing. And I mean, they still hopefully I want Resident Evil 8 to be a launch game.
Ooh, yeah, that would be good. That would be
really good. The last PSVR feels sort of like fundamentally more in the style guide of the PS5 than it did anything last gen, because it's all white and black, just like their new controllers and the new console and stuff like that. So I'm wondering if they'll go with that sort of colorway again, that motif. That'll be interesting.
Yeah. So
I'm thinking like more of like a visor for the actual like headset itself. We're not going to have the whole dome piece over our skull and all that. They go for a nice clean visor look. You have the controllers. I mean, VR is still going to be a very niche thing. It's going to be incredibly, high price. We're probably looking at a $400 accessory.
You think it's 4? I bet you it's 5. With those controllers and the headset, and they probably throw a game in or something. I bet you it's going to be 500. It's probably going to be the cost of the system.
That's a tough sell.
Yeah.
They need to get VR's price down. They got to get that entry affordable to really make it meaningful to the market. Otherwise, it's going to continue to be this small niche market appeal where you're not going to get those huge exclusives and meaningful releases to actually make VR something that the community wants to adapt to. And like PSVR was a good step, but price was again a problem.
So if Sony was serious about VR and really wanted to take a shot at it, I think if they built their own Oculus Quest at a more affordable price, that would be better, because I think this headset is going to be, they're going to design it. But you all right, Sean?
Yeah.
Okay. They're going to design it more like with enthusiasts in mind. So I think they'll go higher in price, but I think Brian is right about that Quest being more appealing for the mainstream. And if they had been able to get like a Sony headset out that's all in one and it's $300, I think they would have something there and they could market that heavily. But it would be their other system. So I'd be curious if Sony be willing to go after something like that and design a chip that's all in one for it. And I would like to see them do it, because they have the best selling headset on the market now that's technically pushing it along, and it's this old piece of junk. So I would like to see them try to do that too. But
yeah, me too. I mean, I feel like if you like VR, it's exciting that the console manufacturer that's leading the sort of generation in sales wise, or at least was last time, is doubling down on VR. Like that's good news for you, right? Because it means that people are still taking this shit seriously, and it's not just like the skeevy Facebook company. So, like that's good. That's good. I'm happy about that.
That's true. I can use it without having to sign into my Facebook account. Gosh.
Hey, we got to wait for next gen Labo. They're going to get higher quality cardboard.
Is that no Sean? Okay, good. I was gonna say, is that the only VR? No, Sean has a Oculus Go.
Yes.
Okay, good. Because for a while there, the only one you've ever used was Labo, and I was like, oh no, got to get you something else. That's good though. Okay, cool. I'm excited to see what the headset looks like. You think later this year, Nate, or you think there's next year, like early next year?
This year.
Next year.
Okay.
Sure. I think they introduce us as far as showing us what the headset will look like. It's not releasing this year. They're just going to introduce.
You know what'd be cool is if they get like haptic feedback in the headset itself, and they can make it seem like rain is falling on your head and all of this.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, they could do some really cool stuff.
That's awesome.
Because I bet you they'll have like audio, set up as well to kind of go along with it in the headset. Oh, there's some cool stuff they could do with that.
Well, I have a question. Like, if we're talking, into next year, I've personally been looking at getting into VR, but to me personally, like all the differences is kind of overwhelming. Is this something that you think I should just wait on and see? Or is this something I should act on now and then maybe later on upgrade?
I kind of feel like, that's a good question, because I almost feel like you should wait and see, because the one nice thing about the PlayStation VR is its ease of use, because it's designed to work for the PS5. So it's like you plug in the cable and all the software they have is there. But if you get something like what Brian has with the Quest, you can also get a cable to plug it into your computer, and it will act like like a VR headset for your PC. So, and it's cool because some of the stuff like Super Hot or Beat Saber that work just on the Quest is really cool. But I don't know. I mean, maybe it might be worth anyway to wait, because we could have new models of the Quest, for example, come out later this year. Yeah. So it might be worth waiting to see what Sony has. As well, unless there's a VR game you really want to play right now, which the only one I can really say is an absolute must play, according to a lot of stuff. It's got to be Half-Life Alyx, and that I assume is a launch title for the PS5.
Yeah, just that and Beat Saber is my only pull right now. So I kind of want to see if we're getting
really worth it too.
I've heard a lot of recommendations, but it's like 3 games. Like I'd play Beat Saber the most out of all of them.
Astrobot.
Yeah, Astrobot's really good.
Astrobot's good. Rez is good.
A lot of people suggest Boneworks to pick up if you have VR.
Yeah. I'm just kind of cheap though, so will it be worth the money?
Resident Evil 7. You can start with that one.
7, great. I mean, don't. Batman's fantastic.
Batman's super fun because there's like a mirror in the game, and that's one of the funniest things you will ever do in VR. Dude, it's like you walk up to a mirror as Batman and just like, oh, it's so fucking.
That was so fucking cool the first time I experienced that.
Yeah, Batman was awesome the first time. There's a lot of good VR games. I mean, it's really talking maybe 24 overall, but they're really good experiences overall when you really are able to immerse yourself in the VR experience.
Is it cool for the novelty, or is it cool because it's actually good?
It's a genuinely good experience. Resident Evil 7 in VR is phenomenal.
Yeah, I played the entire game through and through on VR exclusively, and man, it was something else. It was so much fun.
Good to know.
It's I've always said like my favorite thing about VR is it takes like completely mundane shit from everyday regular video games and it makes it quasi interesting or extremely interesting. Like in Batman VR, there's a part where you can just like pick up a clipboard and flip it over and then just like throw it across the room. And if you do that in a regular video game, you're like, yeah, whatever. But in VR, you're like, fuck this room.
Yeah, in Boneworks,
those simulator games are so great. Like Job Simulator and whatnot. It's nonsense, and you really don't have to do anything, but it's just funny to mess around because you can't go to an office and just be like, oh, your boss is there. You can't just flip your computer over. But in a video game, you can. I don't know. It's stupid, but it's fun.
In Boneworks, I was watching some streamers play it. They would pick glass bottles up off of counters, throw them in the air, and try to shoot them in the air. It was great.
I will say this, everyone who's watching now, they're going to have that Play at Home initiative from Sony. As long as you're signed into a PlayStation account, you can claim the games. And Astrobot, Paper Beast, Moss, Farpoint, I think there's something else in there, but Farpoint. All of these VR games will be there. So to me, you might as well claim everything you can that's on there, including Horizon Zero Dawn. And if you get a PS5 later this year and you get a headset next year, there you go. They'll already be there for you.
Saves that whopping $10 that it would cost you to buy Horizon.
Hey, a good game's a good game. A free game's a free game, right, Sean?
Not wrong.
Sean will still be too lazy to turn on his PlayStation 5 and claim it.
No, here's the story.
Oh boy,
I had to turn on my PlayStation 5. When was it? Yesterday. Or was it yesterday? Sorry. Yeah. Or no, it's 2 days ago. Because 8-Bit Eric was like, hey, I got this game to play, and it's online only, and there's no one playing it. It's for PlayStation 5. I was like, fine, whatever. So I couldn't find a USB-C charging cable, and it was driving me nuts. And the system was like, oh, we have to update. Oh, we have to update the controller. It's like, fuck's sake. I'm going to play this shitty indie game with Eric for 10 minutes so he can make a fucking video on it. And I have to do all this shit. And The game came out on the Switch as well.
But hold on, it's a USB chart. Don't you have this for the Switch too, though?
Yeah, I didn't realize it until after that. Because the controller's dying. I'm like, why do I have its USB-C? I'm like, well, my Switch is. And I was like, wait, why don't I just use my Switch plug? And I was like, this is great.
They're all USB-C now.
I'm so happy about that. What a stupid little thing that we all landed on just one type of what the fuck? We were talking about the PSVR before. That was one of the more annoying things about PSVR is that it used the Move controllers used the what was it the
PS3 one the micro
micro USB. Yeah,
which is just insane.
That's where they came from, right? That's where they originated, if you remember.
I remember they had disc golf, I think it was, for the original like PS3 Sports something. There was supposed to be like Wii Sports. It was disc golf, and you could
shameless
just like throw it that way. And it's so funny.